Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today's video is going to be a recap of my planner for March of 2022. Before we get started, I'd like to say welcome to you if you are new and welcome back if this is a return visit to my channel. So the other thing I want to say before I get much further is I feel like I have a lot to say this month about my planner. And because I don't want to forget anything, I did jot down some notes that I'm going to be referring to throughout the video. Therefore, there will be places in the video where you will hear pages turning in the notebook that I used to jot down my notes. So I just wanted to put that out there that that's what you're hearing when you hear that. Okay, so let's jump right in. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about. So I think the most obvious place to start is with my planner cover. I did change my planner cover this month. I've been in this beautiful Silver Mist Croco Filofax since December, and I still love it a lot, and I know that I will use it again someday. It's gorgeous. However, I was feeling a need to be in a planner that, I don't know, felt more lived in, or that I could make it feel more lived in. I love, like I said, I love this planner, but there's something about this notebook that I feel like I want to keep it, I don't know, pristine somehow. Which there are times when I'm in that mood where I want everything to be just so, and that's fine. But I was in this mood of, you know what, I wouldn't mind a leather that was a little squishier, maybe a little bit more banged up, and that I wouldn't mind if it got banged up, although honestly I don't know how it would get banged up because my planner doesn't leave my house. But anyway, so that was the mindset that I was in when I changed from the Silver Mist to the Filofax Malden in personal ring. Wow. Try that again. Filofax Malden, personal size, in the purple color. I bought this planner, I want to say 2015, maybe 2016, hoping to use it as a planner / wallet. That did not work for me. I didn't like having those things combined. And honestly, I had set this aside and had considered getting rid of it because I wasn't using it. And now I'm really glad I didn't. I love how soft the leather is. There's a couple of imperfections, just, you know, a little bit banged up. Because like I said, it's, you know, it's been a few years. And so this is exactly the feel that I was looking for, that I was craving, that led me to change covers. So that's like the most obvious change. So there are some changes on the inside as well. So let's get into that. I am not really a big pocket deco person, so this is, you know, there's really not much going on in the pockets. This dashboard here, I'll probably always have as the front of my planner, pictures of my family, a little Mickey head. If you are new to the channel or somehow have missed it in other videos, I am a huge Walt Disney World fan, and this actually came from a Disney cruise that we went on a few years ago. But anyway, so this will probably always be in the front. And then I have, I took a picture of the flowers that my kids sent me for Valentine's Day this year, and I laminated the card that came with it. All right, so one of the big changes, one of the changes I made on the inside of my planner is my dividers. I had been using, actually I can show you, these Catspresso dividers, which are lovely. I love them. I had cut the tab off of this one so I could just use it as a page lifter in the back. I like these a lot, but when I pulled this planner off the shelf, I found that I had left these dividers in there. And actually, I still like them. I made these dividers, you know, a billion years ago out of file folders that I found in the dollar spot at Target, and I had Planner Kate labels to put on them. So I decided, you know what, I still like these. I like the way they look with the purple leather, so I've kept them in. I also like how thin they are. They don't, you know, they don't add a lot of bulk to my planner. Because one of the things I've realized about myself is that I love looking at other people's chunky planners. I'm fascinated by them, and I think they're so pretty. But for me personally, a super chunky planner it doesn't work for me. I have trouble turning the pages, and honestly, I felt like I was trying to add things into my planner just to make it chunky, just to make it look like other people's planners. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want my planner to be my planner, and it will look how I need it to look. So anyway, that's part of why I took out the other dividers. And also, this is mine. You know, I'm not sure how many people have these dividers made from these folders that were available at Target a long time ago. So that's one of the interior changes. Now, this first notes section in my planner, the other thing I did, another addition, is I added some tabs within this section to make some subsections, and I'll get to those in a moment. But first, let's check out the first page. I'm keeping this front and center so that, you know, I remember what I'm doing and, you know, keeping myself on track with my 2022 low buy year. And so here's a little taste of how it's going. So far, so good. Start in the low buy. I'm going to start down here because these are things that I don't want to spend a ton of money on, but I recognize that throughout the year I'm probably, you know, going to have to spend some money on these, and in fact I have. Not on dining out yet. We haven't had any special occasions in the first quarter of 2022, like in our family birthdays, anniversaries, and stuff like that. They don't hit until Q2. So I have not dined out at all so far. So far so good. I've stuck to that. And then as far as buying clothes, my note was to only buy those that I needed due to weight loss. I have had to buy some clothes. As I've mentioned before, I've lost a significant amount of weight in the last year and a half. And honestly, the reason I needed clothes was because of my upcoming Disney World trip. I didn't have any warm weather / vacation clothes. So I bought the minimum I felt that I needed to take on my trip with me. The vacation home that I'll be in does have a washer and dryer. So I didn't need to buy like a whole week's worth of clothes because about midweek I'll be able to do laundry and wear things again. So that's pretty good. As far as my no buy goes, I have not purchased any planner supplies. I have not purchased any handbags, and alcohol for at-home consumption, I haven't purchased any. When I wrote this list, I wrote it that way about alcohol because I wanted to give myself kind of like the option to, if I'm out with friends, you know, we're out celebrating something, to have an alcoholic beverage if the mood struck. However, as of a couple of days ago, I'm 3 months alcohol free, and I think I've decided that I want to keep it that way, whether I'm at home or whether I'm out. My life is better without alcohol. I don't waste any time recovering from the effects. So I'm going to, right now on camera, just change this and cross out the for at-home consumption. So now I'm just not buying alcohol. Truthfully, when I started this list, a lot of it was about saving money. Alcohol is expensive, but there's also health benefits to not buying alcohol. So anyway, that's that. The other thing I want to point out is I am still using my basic Bic pen, still using blue ink. I'm really loving it. These are like the pens from my childhood, and I recently, you know, fell back in love with them. So this is my planner pen. Okay, moving on. So I also have my planner inventory if I need another reminder of, you know, why I'm not buying planner stuff. There you go. So the first, like I said, I put some tabs up here to have some subsections within my notes. So the first one is recipes, and I don't have a ton of recipes in here. It's just I have been doing a lot more cooking lately. as part of my frugal grocery challenge that I set up for myself. I'm trying to keep it to a really drastically reduce my grocery spending. And so part of that is a lot of, cooking from scratch. And since it's stuff I'm developing the habit, but I don't really think I'm there yet. And so a lot of these recipes, when I'm making a grocery list, I would forget an ingredient if I didn't have notes on them. So, especially because some of them are just like things I made up, but I'll forget if I don't have them written down. So I have a recipe section, and then I have this school committee tab. So I serve on our regional school committee. In other parts of the U.S., that is known as the school board. So that's what that is. And so I have a little section here for notes for meetings. And then my next subsection is my 2022 Walt Disney World trip, which is coming up fast, which I don't know, I'm not sure that's fair to say. I booked this trip in May of 2021. So now that we're finally getting down to the last few days before the trip, I'm getting increasingly excited. So I have a section for planning, of notes on that, which I've got most of it clipped together because it's confirmation numbers and stuff that I wouldn't show on camera. I have my to buy list, which is getting down there, my packing list, which I need to redo, because between the time that I made this section in my planner and now, I've decided to go just carry on. I'm not going to check a bag. Excuse me. With making connecting flights, I just have a thing about what if they lose my luggage. And it's been so long since I've been to Disney World. I really don't want to risk spending any of that time dealing with lost luggage. So I'm going to have to redo these lists. My to-buy list is also a little bit different. I still need the same things, but some of it, my sister, who lives in Florida, who I will be spending some time with, some of it my sister will be picking up for me. So where it says Ellen, that's what that is. She's buying those things for me. So I am going to redo this probably in the next couple days because I'm running out of time. But it's a good running out of time. All right, so the next section, this is a new section in my notes, and that is my DisCon section. I don't know if you can see that. My DisCon 2022 section. And I am incredibly excited about this particular section in my planner. So first, let me just tell you about the paper that I used. I made a divider. This paper is scrapbook paper that I have had, I want to say at least 10 years, possibly longer than that. But it looks to me like it's Disney World scrap paper and scrapbook paper. And it kind of reminds me of pixie dust, which just felt really appropriate for my Disconn divider. And this is a Chrissy Ann Design sticker that I also laminated onto this. So Disconn is a conference at Disney World that is put on by Give Kids the World, which is a non-profit resort in Central Florida that provides week-long cost-free vacations to critically ill children and their families. So it's a great event, a fun event for attendees. From what I've seen, I've never been able to go until this year. And it raises money for what I believe is a good cause. So I bought my ticket for this last week, and I'm just so incredibly excited. So yes, this year I will in fact have 2 Disney World trips. This one is at the very end of September, first weekend of October. So it's a 2-day conference, and on the Saturday night of the conference, there's an after-hours party at Epcot, which is my favorite park. So I'm really excited about being able to attend that as well. So this is going to be, it's going to be fun planning this trip. So again, this is all clipped together because really what's in there right now is confirmation numbers and stuff like that I wouldn't share on camera. However, as of the day that I am recording this, there are still tickets available to DisCon, and I will put a link in the description below for where you can get more information about the event. in case you are also interested in attending. And hey, let me know if you do. Maybe we can catch up with each other. And the second thing I'll do is I'll just put a link to the Give Kids the World website if you want to learn more about the work that this nonprofit organization does, and if you want to consider donating to this organization. So that's the notes section. The new tabs in my notes section. This is still in here. This is an ancient TN dashboard from Lauren Phelps Designs. I still love that. And then moving on, the next section, this isn't really going to change. This is my task tracker that has been working really well for me, and I've got April set up, ready to go. So it's a list of tasks that I want to be sure I hit, at least once a month. Most of them are more frequently than once a month, but I really like this because it gives me an at-a-glance look at when the last time was that I did something, so I can determine what I need to get done. I do write things down in my weekly planner, on my weekly pages as I do them. However, I have found that having this overview it's a nice quick way to find, when was the last time I did that thing, instead of having to go through and read, all of my days in my weekly. So that's what this is. I just write it on Filofax paper that came in the planner, so I've got April and May set up. I didn't set up the whole year for a couple reasons. Sometimes new tasks occur to me, or like I do, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd like to track when the last time was that I did that. So I do, so this is subject to change, I guess is the point. So I don't want to go too far ahead. So just April and May are ready to go. And here's one of those times where I told you that you would hear me turn a page in my notebook because I do have more notes. Okay, weekly section. I'm still using Filofax inserts and I'm still really liking them. I am still using date covers, which really it adds a nice bit of color to my inserts, and it makes the dates big enough for me to see them. I like the Filofax inserts, but the print is a little small for me, so I like doing it this way. So towards the end of February, one of the things I started doing was highlighting the highlights of my week. I am someone who needs to be reminded that I am blessed, and I'm very fortunate to be where I am in my life. And so one of the ways that I remind myself of that is on Sunday afternoon, I will look back over the week, and I'll just use a highlighter and highlight the good things in my life that happened that week. Some of them might be things that I made happen. Some of them are just things that, I was lucky enough to have happen, such as, like this day here where it was warm enough to sit out on the deck. I live in New England, and so, at this point in the year, having days like that is a big deal. So I'll show you my March pages now, and then at the end of the video, I'll go back and do a flip of the whole first quarter. But so this is the very beginning of March, and again, more of the highlighting of some of the good things that went on. The stickers on Saturdays are counting down the weeks until my trip to Disney World. The other thing I started doing in March was, I did start on March 1st. I started tracking the weather. I don't typically track the weather, but I was curious. There's that saying about how March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. Not sure that's true. So I thought it would be fun for me to just track the high and the low temperatures for the whole month of March to see if I think that's true or not. And considering where we are temperature today and yesterday, I'm thinking it's in like a lion and still feel like a lion, at least this year. Anyway, so that is new, the temperature tracking. Another thing I did this month that I liked, that I will do again this week, so I had these really pretty date covers, and then I wanted another little pop of color on the inserts, so I used Tombow just to add a little splash of color each day And I thought that this color, which I should have written down the number, but I didn't, I thought that that would, like, it complemented the date covers I was using. So I really liked adding that little extra bit of color to the page, and I will do that again at some point. And the other thing too that's nice on this spread, I felt like I had a lot of highlighting, which meant like I feel like there was a lot of good things that went on in my life that week. And then here is last week. Again, pretty date covers, highlighting the highlights. And then I'm recording this on Tuesday, March 29th, because it is probably the day we're going to have the most sunshine here, and I don't have fancy, lighting or anything like that for making videos. It's just, sitting at my desk by a window. So that is it for the weeklies. I do want to point this one thing out though. Again, I think I mentioned earlier in the video that I booked this Disney World trip in May of 2021, and now I'm just really excited because I'm finally at the point where I can start using countdown stickers that I found in my sticker stash. So I will be using those for the next couple of weeks as I count down to the trip that's coming up very soon. Yay. All right, moving on to the daily section. I did leave this little piece of deco in here because I like it, and fond memories of my days as an undergrad at UMass Amherst. So this is the daily section, and I did make one change in here. So I like these today inserts. Again, I don't use dailies very often. In fact, I think the last time I used one actually was in January. But I decided to take the rest of them out. I had a few blanks in here. I took them out and replaced them with grid paper, because going back to that, I want my planner to feel lived in idea that I've had going lately. This paper is really nice because it's thick, so there's not bleed through and stuff, and that's really nice. But when I want my planner to feel lived in, I want the pages to feel more used when I write on them. I don't think that sounds weird. I think some of you will probably understand what I'm talking about. So what I did instead was I just put, I cut down some Amazon Basics grid paper to fit in here. Whoops, sorry, I just totally smacked my tripod. Well, it's not really a tripod. All right, anyway, so the other reason I did it was on days that I need a daily, what I really need is just a place to brain dump. I just need to jot stuff down, get it out of my head, and make a list. So while the structure of this is nice on some days, really what I need is just a blank piece of paper to just let it rip. So that's what I've decided I'm going to use now as my daily, just plain blank paper. And to make cutting it down easier, oops, one of the things I did, so here's the paper that I'm talking about, this Amazon Basics paper. So I bought 2 pads of this. It came in 2 pads, and it was really inexpensive. I think it was like $10 or $11 for the whole thing, and there's a ton of paper. And this is still the first pad. So one of the reasons I like this paper too is that the grid is, the lines are like a light gray. Instead of blue. I didn't want to use graph paper that felt like math class, although I am a former math teacher, but I didn't want my planner to feel that way. So that's the paper I bought. And then what I did was I made this little guide for myself so that I don't have to measure out every time I want to cut paper down. I don't want to have to count stuff. I don't want to have to measure each time. So what I do is I just put this on, on the pad of paper and just make some lines and then use my paper trimmer to cut it down. So that makes it really easy, and I can get 3 sheets out of 1 sheet of this paper. So that's how I'm doing my dailies now. And then the notes section, this second notes section here, I'm not going to show you. It's just where I keep track of what I've posted on social media, and that's really it. I'm using these Filofax inserts that I bought that I thought I was going to use as my weeklies, and I changed my mind, so I didn't want to have them go to waste, so that's where I'm using them, is in here. And then my back pocket, again, I'm not a huge pocket decorator, but this actually, when I pulled this planner off the shelf to use it, this Minnie Mouse clip was already on it, and I just left it there. And then I have a couple like personal things in this back pocket here, but you know, nothing earth-shattering, just stuff I wouldn't show on camera. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this will be my setup for the month of July. Well, could be, but I really meant to say the month of April. And while I do this little chit chat at the end of the video here, I'll just go through and do a flip of all my weekly pages from quarter 1, because I don't know, us planner people, we tend to like seeing flips. So here we go, and we'll just chat while I do this. So this is almost all of quarter 1 for 2022. So like I was saying, I think this will be my setup for April. I don't anticipate making any huge changes in the next few weeks. However, I am working on a small project that could mean some changes in May. I haven't decided yet, but I will keep you posted on that. If I make any big changes, of course, there will be YouTube videos about it, but also if you want to know, you know, ahead of time, is Kim changing her planner? You can follow me on Instagram at Kimberly Ann Plans, because I tend to put my planner stuff up there before it hits a YouTube video, and I post over there more frequently. I try to do a YouTube video once a week, although don't hold me to that because it won't always be that frequently. But on Instagram I post pretty close to daily. So yeah, the other thing, I went back and forth on it, and I've decided I'm not going to take my planner to Florida with me. My planner doesn't really leave the house. I have a thing about being afraid of losing it. Because while it would be horrible to lose my phone or my wallet or something like that, those things can be replaced. And while the binder could certainly be replaced, with my planner, a lot of the stuff in it just couldn't be replaced. And so I just have a thing about not wanting to take it out in the world and risk losing it. So this will be staying home, but I do have a little pocket TN that I'm going to take with me for journaling. So anyway, that's it. That is my March 2022 recap of my Filofax Personal Rings Planner. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had fun making it, and I would really appreciate it if you did like the video, if you'd give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, I really would appreciate you hitting that subscribe button as well. Until next time, thanks for joining me.